I didn't think it would ever come to pass. It was such an unusual request by R.J. Reynolds for a totally automated knockdown case printing system for generic case printing that we just didn't think it would ever happen.
Sandy was already committed to R.J. Reynolds in terms of his putting inkjet equipment on their production lines. And it was his job, of course, to handle the sale of that equipment to them.
Everyone had to pitch in to make the project a total success.
That's what the whole project boiled down to, was teamwork. Teamwork and strong commitment to satisfy the customer, which is R.J. Reynolds.
What you're about to see is a story which epitomizes project partnering. This is another Marsh Company success story. It's one of teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to completing an enormous job. It's the story of the Association of Marsh Company in Belleville, Illinois, Shelton and Associates in Greensboro, North Carolina, R.J. Reynolds in Winston-Salem, and Frontier Equipment in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Marsh Company, now celebrating its 75th anniversary, not only manufactures the best quality and the most flexible inkjet printing systems, but they are also a solution-oriented company committed to addressing true customer needs.
In the process of talking with R.J. Reynolds about their inkjet printing, the idea of generic case printing came up. And so Sandy contacted Marsh. We had a conversation about what we could actually do for Reynolds. We decided that we would put on a seminar on generic case printing and barcoding, if that's what R.J. Reynolds would really like to see. So we shipped a Knockdown case printer down to their facility, and along with that, all of the inkjet printing equipment that would be necessary to print the cases for them. Originally, we thought this was going to be a seminar for about 15 to 20 people. It turned out that it was a seminar for about 45 people, and we had to do 3 seminars throughout the day. It was tremendously successful, not only from our standpoint, but from the standpoint of the concept engineers at Reynolds. The concept, in fact, went over so well that we laid out a short-term program of what was available immediately that would provide them an immediate return on investment. And we laid out a long-term project that would truly enable them to satisfy the needs of their plant.
Dave Beckett, project engineers at Reynolds, and I sat down and talked about the machine that we had just showed them in a previous seminar. And they liked that idea as well as attaching inkjet equipment. Dave had an idea, the concept of high resolution printing in his mind wasn't known to me or to Reynolds at the time, but he saw the potential for this type printing in an industrial environment such as R.J. Reynolds. Reynolds then came to us and asked if there was a better machine than the current available knockdown case printer that we were showing at the time. We said no, there wasn't, but we wouldn't be adverse to building one for them. So we all sat down around a conference table and drew up a wish list, and the fruition of that wish list is what we have today.
Based on the conversation at the end of the seminars, we created a whole idea and a concept of what R.J. Reynolds would actually like to do in generic case printing. Reynolds set up a project team along with Sandy and I to work on this project. And work we did. We worked from 7 o'clock in the morning until the wee hours of the night, and basically we fleshed out the entire concept. We fleshed out a short-term solution, and we fleshed out a long-term project that would truly meet the entire needs of R.J. Reynolds Tobacco. The short-term solution was implemented almost immediately, and it worked great. It worked fantastic, and it's still working today. The long-term project is what we carried out and what's working today for Reynolds.
Marsh's reputation in the marking and coding industry is an excellent one. That, in addition to the quality of the equipment that they make and the potential for that type technology in this particular application, made this a very exciting project. What Reynolds was looking for in terms of printing equipment were alphanumeric quality similar to flexographic printing, plus the barcode technology needed to read the barcodes in their central distribution system as well as to their outside distribution system.
We had to produce a code that was better than the pre-printed cases that they already had. Better in terms of the flexibility that it offered R.J. Reynolds. The quality of that code was what was going to make sales and marketing buy off on this project. We looked long and hard really for another vendor to help us complete this task. There was quite a few people that we shook out in terms of making sure that we got the right people to build the equipment. Frontier Equipment were the right people. They provided the expertise and the excitement about the project that enabled us to all work together and complete the project.
What the team of Marsh Company, Shelton and Associates, R.J. Reynolds, and Frontier Equipment came up with was a combination of common sense and sheer genius. The generic case printing system is based on the Marsh high-res printers, and it's run by the Marsh Print Management System. This is a graphic software program which is an operator interface and ties everything together: the machine control, the high-res printer controls, and the label printer interface. The Marsh high-res system in R.J. Reynolds takes up a space 84 feet long by 36 feet wide. At a speed of 250 feet per minute, it's capable of printing 70 cases per minute with barcodes scanning in excess of 99.9%. Blank cases are removed from the pallet. And the empty pallet is stacked in the upstacker. Cases are fed into the magazine section, then picked individually to travel into the vertical conveying section. Then the cases proceed into the printing section and are printed to order specification. From that point, the barcodes are read and verified that they are correct. If the barcodes are out of spec, the cases are automatically rejected. The cases go from a vertical to a horizontal position, into a reservoir, and then advance to the upstacker. At this point, the robot picks a slip sheet and places it on a pallet. The pallet is then, in turn, lifted by the robot and staged on the conveyor awaiting finished printed cases. They then are placed back on a pallet according to the number of cases on the order. The cases are strapped, labeled, removed by a forklift, and placed back in the inventory system for just-in-time use.
When a customer buys a system like this, they're not really buying the equipment, although Marsh produces the highest quality equipment of this type. They're buying the payback associated with that equipment, all the benefits that really come into play. They're buying the fact that they don't have to have a huge inventory of pre-printed cases. They don't have to have the manpower to bring the right case to the right line at the right time. Therefore, the reduction in manpower. They're buying the flexibility of changing their messages when they want to change the messages. They're buying the cost savings associated with all of these processes, and they're buying the payback that this entire process offers them. That's really what R.J. Reynolds bought.
The 4 departments involved were sales, marketing, manufacturing, and engineering. And all 4 of those departments both had input into the design of the machine, the implementation of the case, and the final say-so in the project. All 4 of them had to be satisfied in total before the project could proceed. Everyone had to pitch in to make the project a total success.
And boy, did they ever make it happen. Marsh Company invites you to become a part of the next success story. Call 1-800-527-6275 and take that first step toward improving the identity of your packaging with high-resolution text, logos, and barcodes. Make your mark with Marsh High Res.